All right, Yancy, dude, this is so when I say this has definitely been the hardest podcast to schedule, I don't know if you know this, but you're harder than Donald Trump to get on the show.
We've been working on this for a year, man.
Well, yeah, it's been about a year because I came down and actually, let's see. So I think I met you at one of your running camps. But I had talked to you prior to that. I'd wanted to get you on the show prior to that because I had followed your stuff in terms of the Spartan racing and whatnot. But then I took one of your running camps and I was like, oh, I definitely got to get you on the show because it helped my running out a ton.
How's the bicep doing, my friend?
The bicep is amazing. The only issue with the bicep is that the tendon itself, which attaches runs through your shoulder, basically, right? So the bicep tendon is not just down in your arm. The shoulder part of the tendon, that area is pretty inflamed. So I've just been having to do a lot of rehab and stretching for that area. The tendon down near the elbow is great. That part is super strong. I'm doing sets of 6 to 8 pull-ups now, so I'm good to go.
Excellent. And the running mechanics?
Well, the running mechanics are awesome. I ran 2 miles the other day with no pain. Took my little metronome out with me and was holding a steady 180. So I feel good, man. I'm starting to do more tire drags as the weather warms up here. I'm kind of a wuss when it comes to the cold weather, so I gotta change that and start getting out there in the freezing cold.
I remember that last time I saw you in person at North Carolina when I was helping about 150 people try to get their first Spartan Ultra Beast buckle. Well, what we used to call the Ultra Beast, but what we now call the Ultra. But I remember seeing you. I can't remember which obstacle it was. We saw each other for a few minutes.
Yes, I know. I remember exactly what it was. It was where you have to. It was just the logs where you climb over, right? Just that long log where you kind of roll over a couple of them. It's like probably like 4 or 5 feet off the ground. You hop up and then you roll over. I don't know what it's called, but I think it was mile probably, I don't know, 8 or 9, something like that. At least for the Beast, which I was running. I don't know about the Ultra.
Yeah.
That was miserable.
Yeah, good times though, man. Those are tough conditions.
Absolutely.
The second lap of the Ultra, they shut down the mudslide because it got pretty crazy even on lap 1. But good stuff, man.
Yeah, no, I still have some battle scars from that one. That one will never – I don't think I'll ever forget that one. I actually took a few of my clients out there with me as well, and they still send me some pretty hateful text messages just letting me know that they haven't forgotten.
Good stuff, man. Where's home base for you?
So we are based right outside of Washington, D.C., about 30 minutes west of downtown in Northern Virginia.
We're coming to Alexandria.
Oh, really?
Here. Oh, yeah. We're going to have an Alexandria event.
Oh, amazing. Well, this is a hot take then, because this is stuff that I know a lot of people have been bugging me. We can jump into this because I've been getting hit with a lot of questions from business owners, or gym owners in the area. I'm friends with all of them. And they're like, hey, DekaFit reached out, but when are they going to be in the area? And I'm like, I don't know. I got to ask Yancy.
So the only hardcore date that we've released is March 21st, Denver. But
yeah,
Dallas will be our second event. Atlanta will be our third. We've released the months that they're going to be in, so you'll be able to see. I think the functional times posted are not so solid schedule, meaning you can see, okay, this is the month we're going to be in your area.
Sure.
Basically, it just boils down to, there's cities where you're working with the convention center or possibly the indoor football facility like we're using at Denver Broncos. So you're negotiating a couple different places, and that's what's so neat about the DekaFit movement, man, is that we're able to do every one of them indoors. No cold, no hot, no rain, no snow, no wind, and all those people that have maybe they've used something. They view Spartan in its current state, and they've allowed some of that they see to be used as an excuse of why maybe I wouldn't do that. Well, we're literally stripping away all the excuses with DekaFit and catering to that. Every single event will go down a short Uber ride from 2, 3, 4 million people. So
oh, that's amazing.
very convenient, tons of fun. Everybody needs a Deka Mark.
Oh, I couldn't agree more, man. I was super excited when I saw you guys were doing that, because this is something that I feel like it's a cross between Spartan and then like CrossFit, right? So like, a lot of people want to do CrossFit because it looks cool when you watch the CrossFit games, but these, these movements and the WODs that these guys put together where, you're doing some pretty complex stuff that can easily hurt you if you're not experienced. That's a huge factor when people are looking at it, because they're like, well, I can't even do a hang clean with a dumbbell. How am I supposed to do a hang clean for time with burpees and all this other stuff?
Yeah.
This eliminates that excuse.
Well, really and truly, to paint the picture for all your listeners, the DekaFit experience, we call it the decathlon for all fitness levels. And what we wanted to do is every day, millions of people walk into a HIIT class, a boot camp class, a Barry's boot camp, an Orange Theory, an F45, a group fitness class. They have a session with their personal trainer. They walk into a CrossFit box, other brick and mortar gyms. They're working with personal trainers, group fitness instructors. Every day, millions of people walk into these type of facilities to try to improve their fitness culture, improve their lifestyle, so they can be a better version of themselves. Every single one of those people, I don't care what their level of fitness is, DekaFit will be a great fit for them. I don't care if they're an elite level runner, tennis player, soccer player, OCR athlete, any sport they play at an elite level. It's going to be a phenomenal competition and challenge for them. But in the same arena, on the same day, using the same Deka zones, the same Deka gym, running the same track, using the exact same movements, that person that's just now getting off the couch, nail-biting nervous, that may have to walk all 500-meter reps and have to struggle through all 10 zones and takes 3 times as long as the person next to them, it's okay. It's for them just as much as it is the elite and everybody in between. Because the way we look at it, Josiah, is every gym owner, box owner, studio owner, boutique owner, every personal trainer, and every group fitness instructor, everybody in that category, and actually anybody like myself that's doing online coaching, anybody that's doing anything to help move the fitness needle, we're letting that community know that we did this for you. We're partnering with you to give you a phenomenal opportunity for your clients to be tested sometimes. And we feel you're doing great work to help improve the fitness culture. And this gives a fun team environment. Bring the whole team, bring the whole boot camp, whatever, bring the whole F45 class, and let's get tested in the DekaFit arena. And when I lock myself in a room for 3 or 4 days, just, coming from the fitness world like yourself, we've done millions of movements. We know how to move the body. But really and truly, when you say, okay, I'm going to create the decathlon for all levels of fitness, you want 10 basic movements. And I say basic, not in a bad way. That was on purpose, where there isn't that extreme skill level needed. Like if you and I pull 1,000 people off the street and say, get your butt in the DekaFit arena, we're gonna do some fun testing day. You're gonna be challenged. The moment they step in there and look around, there's not going to be a single movement or a single challenge in there. No part of that day is going to be stressful in the fact that I don't know what I'm doing here. The movements are very rudimentary, based on things that we used to do. 2,000 years ago, it was to gather food, build rudimentary shelters for survival. Same kind of movements: squatting, lifting, pushing, pulling, rowing on the air assault bike. All basic stuff that you see it. You may have never done a single one of those stations. It's got like a 30-second learning curve. Oh, this is what I do. So that was all on purpose. I've always said some of the greatest athletes on the planet are like our Navy SEALs, Army Rangers, phenomenal athletes. But if we put them into a CrossFit box into most WODs, or you throw them into the CrossFit Games, they're going to get dead last in many cases, because they haven't got that 2 to 3 years of learning the skill, like you said.
Yeah, we saw that just last year when a top Spartan racer, who's a phenomenal athlete, by the way, I know him personally, Hunter McIntyre, where he jumped into the CrossFit games. He's, what I would consider to be, top 1% in the world in terms of athleticism. He got eliminated. I think it was day 1 or day 2, and finished, near the bottom of the pack. But it wasn't because he can't do it. He just hadn't trained for it long enough. I think he'd only put in like a year or 6 months worth of prep. Still was respectable. It didn't look like he didn't belong out there, but it was just, CrossFit. I tell people all the time, it's like, hey, it's like if a client came to me and said, how do I get in shape? And I said, hey, go strap up the pads and jump into the NFL. Right. You're going to be like, oh, it sounds cool, but I'm going to get my butt whooped pretty quick.
Well, what's so unique about that is we truly, the entire Spartan movement, and especially DekaFit, from the creators of Spartan, we love we love CrossFit. We love what High Rocks is doing. We love what every entity out there that's helping move the fitness needle. You're all doing phenomenal work. We're just different. We're just providing something that's different. Every podcast I go on, every time I walk into a gym, anytime I'm talking to anybody, doing an interview or whatnot, when I say, and when Joe says, and everybody in the Spartan organization says, this is for everyone, we never lose sight of the fact that, like I said, if we pull 1,000 people off the street and they've never heard of DekaFit before, I want 99+% of those 1,000 people to be able to get through. I don't care if they're 100 pounds overweight. For the open category, I've designed every movement standard. They're lifting the same weight as the elites. They're doing the same movement standards, but they have ways to work themselves slowly through all these stations. I mean, every day we do basic stuff just for survival, even though we don't have to go as crazy as we used to 2,000 years ago, but we still, if the body has a basic form of functioning for you right now, if you're bedridden, then no. But if you're not, you can get a Deka mark. It's as simple as that, and that was very, very important. Of course, we wanted an event that's going to be ridiculously fun to watch. When you watch Ryan Kent and Hunter McIntyre throw down side by side, or face standing and Krina Coffin throw down, we want that, and it's going to be an amazing, fun race to watch on a live feed March 21st. But that's not our main mission. Our main mission is to help change the fitness culture and provide, when Josiah comes in and whatever race you do this year, let's say you finish it in 44 minutes and 19 seconds, you know where you stand. Let's say Ryan Kent comes in and runs it in 38 minutes, 27 seconds. You know exactly where you stand with yourself, and the fact that you can come back 6 months, a year from now and do the exact same test, none of it's been changed, and you're like, you know what, I improved 11%. Everything I've been doing has helped me move my fitness needle. I'm a little better version of myself because I got my decathlon. We all know what the decathlon is.
Sure.
It's the most epic test for fitness, but that's conducive to 1/10 of 1% of the world. This is conducive for the other 99.9%.
I love it, man. That's why as soon as it became official, I immediately, messaged, because we have a massive group of clients. We've worked with over 3,000 people over the past 15 years. And we've been really trying to put together, client events, right? We've done Spartan races. So for the past 2 years, we've done 6 different events where we've had at least a handful of clients with me at every event running the Spartan races, because it's an opportunity for people to come together. And it's also, like you just said, an opportunity to set a new benchmark, right? It's an opportunity to say, okay, now I know where my fitness is, or where I am in terms of my running ability or my climbing ability, and how many burpees I did. But now it's like, okay, instead of coming back and running a Spartan race that you did last year, that might have some variables that change, right? The weather might be different. The obstacle course might be a little different. And, you might do it and say, oh, I was a little slower, but things were different. Now you can come back and there's standards in place. It's going to be the exact same race. And all you have to do is go out there and do what you work so hard to improve all year.
That's exactly right. There's beauty in the simplicity. There's Joe. I spent a bunch of time with Joe. We talk all the time. We were in Pittsfield, and on a recent trip, as we were kind of working on this movement, and we were talking about, okay, look at Spartan. arguably one of the largest fitness movements the world has ever seen. I'd have that argument with anybody.
Oh yeah, I
but
agree.
Even though millions of people have done a Spartan race and it's helped change their life for the better, 95% of people walking the planet have never even heard of us. And of the 5%, that's where the millions live that have done a race. Some of those in whatever group they live in are like, you know what, for me, the ones that haven't done it but have heard of Spartan, like, you know what, in my current, where I'm at right now, the barbed wire in the mountains is not for me. And I get that. I'm never going to be able to talk 100% of my friends, family, and clients to do a Spartan race.
Sure.
And never are we going to be able to talk the world into it. But the other 95%, DekaFit is for them. And we know there will be a percentage that plants the seed. And you and I will wake up a year from now, and 20% of the people that did their very first Spartan experience, which was a DekaFit race, maybe 10, 20% of them have now done a sprint. And even, wow, let's get really crazy and think about doing a super or a beast. And then others, it will be that motivator, because there's two things in fitness analytics that don't lie. When you sign up for something, you're more dedicated and consistent with your training. That's proven. The analytics show that. And when your coach or your gym or some other entity is able to test you and you're willing to be tested and you see that mark and then you go back to work, and the first time you see improvement, that is a second bullet point of helping lock you in for a long-term lifestyle of improving your fitness and your health, and you wanting to do that and seeing the benefits of that. So we're providing both of those. You know, we are providing that event for you to go get that test, and now you have this mark that's with you forever until you go get it. And in the same breath, if you get lazy and consistent, and you put on some weight, you stop doing consistent with your programming, your DECA mark's going to drop as well. Either one can happen. But no matter what, you have this awesome fitness tattoo now. It's the DECA mark. It's like it's tattooed on your brain. That's my time. And so anyway, man, we're super excited about it.
Oh, I'm right there with you, man. I'm getting excited just talking about it. I'm like, is there a race tomorrow? I'm ready to go.
So what do we do? So I know it might be logistically hard for you. We would love to invite. I'd love to extend you a personal invite to our VIP dinner, January 31st. Of course, as you probably know by now, our first race is March 21st at the Denver Broncos indoor training facility. A beautiful facility for our first race.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It shows you how awesome of a small footprint we can have these races on. But yeah, January 31st, we're doing a VIP dinner, inviting media types, big sponsors, people that like yourself that are in the fitness world in various forms and fashion with your podcast and coaching and whatnot. So I'll shoot you the link.
Sure.
No harm, no foul if you can't come. Of course, we'd love to have you at the March 21st event as well. But if not, we know we'll see you at an event sometime in 2020.
Oh, absolutely. My plan is, if not this year, I mean, obviously I'll be doing a few this year, but then once you guys really start to build out a big calendar, which I know you guys will, because I already see the writing on the wall, I plan on doing 10 in 2021, so we can do DECA and DECA. So that'll be super, super sweet, and get clients, at least 10 clients to come with me every single time. Would be awesome. But this year we'll definitely do as many as possible. Atlanta sounds great. Going to try to get out to Denver, and then definitely Alexandria. I mean, that's going to be amazing. I want to switch gears slightly just for a second, because I would be totally missing the boat if I didn't talk about how amazing of a coach you are. And without stroking your ego too much, I'll let everybody who's listening know I've utilized your coaching for the past, I don't know, I guess it's probably been about 6 months since I came down and joined your running camp that you did in Newport News. But, people who are listening are probably thinking like, okay, this sounds interesting. But for someone like yourself who's been in the game for a while, you've been in fitness for quite a bit, where can people start to prepare for something like this? Because I mean, you say people can just walk off the street, but I'm sure a lot of people say, hey, I got a date on the calendar now. Where can I start preparing? And of course, I would love for you to plug your coaching, because it's one of the best programs and services out there.
I appreciate the kind words, my friend. So at yancycamp.com, what we have created is an online training platform. We have a large number of clients in the world of obstacle course racing. I jumped into the sport back in 2012, came from a high school, college running background, loved all things fitness, had been coaching in the general fitness and running world for many years when this thing called OCR came around. And, so I'd been a coach for a long time and been a competitive athlete for a long time. And early on, I remember after a couple races, I did a Spartan Sprint. My second race was a Spartan Ultra Beast, and my third race was a 72-hour death race. So I kind of did everything backwards. I did the one end of the extreme, the sprint, and then I did the far end of the extreme, the 72-hour death race. And then I just started racing like a madman, and I probably put in 20, 30 races. And I knew in the middle of that process, I think I freaking want to coach in this sport so bad. And I felt that desire. I said, you know what? This is not – you need to have spent some time in this sport. I think for me to be the best – at least for me, to be the best coach I can be, I needed to get my feet wet and learn it from an athlete perspective, put my body through everything the sport had to offer. So I did as many races that I could. And I started coaching the athletes full-time. And my schedule got so busy, I was telling somebody no every single day. Multiple people no. I was telling them no, and I was coaching a lot of high levels. You get about 20 high-level athletes coaching full-time, and you start taking on any more, you start to dilute your ability to provide a level of service. I said, okay, I've got to come up with a plan. I don't have to tell them no anymore. I launched yancycamp.com where, we have approximately 600 clients in 20-something countries where they are now allowed to team with myself and one of the other, a premier level athlete that I coach, say a Ryan Kemp, for example, or a Ray Coble, or somebody the athletes that I get the one opportunity to work with, and Alexander Walker, who just took 5th at World Championships. And there's many others. There's athletes that we lean a little more towards ultra. There's athletes we lean towards shorter stuff, and then mid to long and some short. Like a Ryan Kent is all things short, all things mid to long. But long story short, you can team with me and Ryan, or me and one of the other athletes, and you get to see 3 of their workouts every week. You get the exercise video library, you get the bonus workouts, you get the challenges, you get to be in the Yancy Camp OCR community. And so we're able to provide a very inexpensive method of getting OCR specific strength training. Anything you're doing out there is going to help improve your fitness. Just keep doing something. But this allows you to have a little bit of OCR specific. So if you only have 45 minutes in the gym that day, that 45 minutes is going to translate out on course in the OCR course. It's not just working out. There's stuff in there that's going to help you fail less obstacles and transition a little faster between obstacle to obstacle. We've also had other great programs. I have Dakota Rager, who's been to the CrossFit Games, a very high-level athlete in the CrossFit world. He's been in the CrossFit Games as an individual and on teams. You can get his functional fitness CrossFit training. So he's an actual coach that lives on the Yancy Camp program. We have Heather Golnick, OCR. We have I've implemented DekaFit and High Rocks training. It's thousands of people are wanting it. And for example, if you team with Ryan Kent or some other athletes, you've got this Yancy Camp OCR workout, and then for all 3 of those workouts, you get your DekaFit / High Rocks workout. So now you get this awesome bonus 3 times a week to say, okay, I'm going to, 2 days a week, I'm going to go to that DekaFit specific workout. And now now you're getting instruction from an athlete and a coach that knows that world, the functional fitness competition world, and all the workouts are designed to improve, your Deca mark, for example. And again, we love everything that High Rocks is doing. We're just a little different. It's just going to be a different feel.
Sure.
We're catering to the 99%, and High Rocks is, without going into great detail, they just got a different model, going to cater to a little different crowd. So that allow if somebody wants to jump on yancycamp.com and get DekaFit specific training, for example, they can do that right now. Team with Ryan and I, and you see your DekaFit workout. So just we've had. I think the greatest experience that I've had from it is just the tribe, just the community, going on to my the closed Facebook group, where all the members live, and just doing community there, getting to meet clients on race day that if it wasn't for race day, I'd never meet them in person. It's obviously a challenge running an online training business. You have to really be aware and love on the program because you don't get to see that person face to face. So you have to be creative to grow that bond that you and I get when we do a personal training client or group fitness class where we get to shake hands and fist bump before and after. You have to work on – it takes a special love for coaching to make it work in the online world. You have to create those touch points, almost make it feel like you get the physical touch points, the physical fist bumps without in some cases, I'll never get to do that physically with my clients. But when I meet them in person for the first time, they feel like they really are a part of our tribe and our Yancy Camp clan. So I love it. It's been a phenomenal experience. Before 2015, I'd never done anything online. And for the past 5 years, man, it has been an absolute game-changing experience for me. And I just love the community that we've created with Yancy Camp.
Yeah, no, I can vouch for that. I think the big thing that sticks out to me is just the level of support that you not only get from yourself and some of the athletes, but from the people, involved, the people right next to you who are going through the workouts every day. I've posted many, questions and, videos of myself running, and there's just been an enormous level of support from people who have been inside the workouts and, involved in the Yancy Camp for quite some time. It's amazing. And like I said, I don't see that a lot in the online space. I'm very hesitant oftentimes to refer people to other, coaching programs and other things because it's like you just don't get that same support. But with you, yeah, I mean, you guys are just amazing. And it's cool because I've actually had a chance to connect with people inside the group at some of these races that I didn't know before, which is awesome. It just builds that environment that we preach about all the time. You have to be proactive and create an environment for success when it comes to your health and fitness because the world we live in today really isn't focused on that.
So here's the deal, and this is not debatable, and you know this, my friend. Fitness is a career that you cannot fake it. If you are faking it in the fitness industry, you're gonna crash and burn quick. You and I could go, I don't know, we could go get our CPA certification, become an accountant, or we could go into sales or finance, whatever. You can fake certain careers. You cannot fake fitness. If you aren't passionate about loving your clients, and if you don't get geeked up for every workout you ever write, every class you ever attend, every text message that you or I are sending to one of our clients in an online form or an email or anything we're doing, we have to love it. If you want to do well in the fitness industry, you got to freaking love it. You got to get stupid amped every day. You're bummed when the day is over because you have to stop serving people. That's the attitude you have to have in the fitness industry to make it work. It's not easy. And I've just been crazy blessed. I'm a hot mess at most things, and heck, sometimes I can be even a hot mess at what I do for a living. But the one thing that's a given is I love networking and socializing with people. Matthew McConaughey calls it localizing. When he was a young kid, his dad was a salesman, and he traveled around with his dad in all these small towns, and he got to localize with the people. His dad would go into an hour-long sales meeting, and Matthew would just roam the streets and localize with people in these Texas towns. I love that. Man, my wife knows we're so much different. We go to a party, or if I come to visit you and we go out somewhere, or I'm at a race, I want to meet, if it's possible for me to meet every single person in that festival area, everybody in that party, or talk to everybody I can. That's what I love to do. I just love communicating with people because we both have we both can lean on each other in some form or fashion. And then when I get a chance to talk with you for 5 minutes, you're now in my network forever, and I'm in your network. And now we're both a little stronger for that. And I love that, man. That's probably the only thing I could say I'm good at. Everything else, I'm just freaking average at best. But I'll take anybody down when it comes to just winning the socializing game and localizing and networking and doing anything I can to serve you, to make you better. I want to do that, man, because I can't think of any. We all want to leave a legacy of something. And if everybody says at the end of the day that, gosh dang, man, that guy would just take the time to, if you needed something, he'd take the time to serve you. That's all I need. That's all I want. I'd be happy with that. If that's the 10-second legacy statement that somebody says at my funeral, we all. So anyway, that's one of my strengths, and I think that's an important strength in the world of fitness, whether you're face to face or online. I love that part of. So I pinch myself every day that this is a reminder that I get to do this for a living.
No, I love it. And I couldn't agree more, because, anytime anybody reaches out and says, hey, how do I become successful with coaching online or, building a fitness business, I say you have to give your best stuff without any expectation in return. You have to just show up every day and pour out value with no expectation of anything in return. I tell people all the time, my goal is to help people transform their body without ever handing me their credit card, right? Not because I don't want to make money, but because I know that in order to build a culture of abundance and serving other people, you have to be passionate about those things. You can't just say, okay, I'm going to be passionate about it once I get paid. It doesn't work that way. You'll be out of business before you ever even open your doors, right?
Here's something with that, my friend. And we don't all, like, we all have something we can give to others. And we don't. I was crazy blessed to grow up in a household with a loving mother and father that told me daily that my attitude, my actions, my ability, my willingness to serve others, that was a choice every day. And that they gave me tons of. It was almost like I got to grow up with Eric Thomas and Tony Robbins and all of them in my house. A bunch of little amateur motivational people in my house. It was like this daily pump up. And so not for a second am I going to pretend like, well, that's just, everybody should snap their fingers and be just like that. So what our responsibility is, you and I, is to love on people. And somebody might hear something we say, it might change the way they look at life tomorrow. Here growing up, I did, so fist bump to mom and dad, but growing up, we were lower middle class at best. And if I wanted money in my pocket, I had to work. And I started, my first job was 8th grade. I worked my butt off. I hauled hay, I chopped wood, I was a dishwasher. I worked in the meat market at my hometown. I grinded, man, and all those jobs that were like, nobody wants to do those. But you know what? Because of mom and dad, they planted that, they set me that foundation for me. They put as that foundation was curing up, they put a lot of rebar in there. I had a strong foundation to stand on, and I made a choice every single day at those jobs. I remember as a teenager, like, I'm going to enjoy the experience today. The guy that I'm working for or the girl that I'm working for, I'm not forced to work for them. I made the choice to go work for them, so I have no business to be hateful or to bring a bad attitude to any part of my day, because I chose to work there, and I can leave if I want to. So as my mom and dad taught me, you owe them one thing: a good, honest day's work with a smile on your face. And when you're done, the day is done, you thank them for the opportunities that they're giving you every single day. And that resonated with me. And and we can, you may not have wanted to turn this into a little motivational seminar.
No, I love it. I love it.
Here's the deal, man. Everybody out there that's listening to this, I don't care what situation you're in, if you're a CEO, matter of fact, most CEOs do need to hear this, or you're the janitor, and everybody in between, whatever organization you're with, if you go in with that attitude, like, okay, let's give your listeners some bullet points. I'm not going to get out of bed. I'm not going to let my feet hit the floor until I'm ready to dominate the day-to-day. And then I got to drive to work, or I got to get ready for something, and I'm not going to let my feet hit the floor, hit the pavement. When I put that car in park, I'm going to get my shit straight. And I'm not going to get out of the car until I'm ready to go in and lift and raise the roof on this place today and put wind. If for 1 second today I'm not putting wind behind the sails of this ship, then I am doing a piss poor job, and I'm not serving the company that's giving me the opportunity to thrive. When you start seeing what you have as an opportunity, and that you don't have to be there, you have to ask yourself the question all the time: wait a second, is anybody forcing me to be here? 99.9% of people are going to answer no. So you need to choose that positive attitude in that moment and say, okay, it's my time, man. Every meeting I walk into, every conversation I have, when it's over, they're going to say, gosh dang, dude, I like being around that guy, or I like being around that girl. I want them on my team. And you could have flunked out of freaking high school and flunked out of junior college, or barely freaking scrap by with a freaking C average with your college degree, whatever. You don't have to be anywhere near the sharpest tool in the shed. If you've got that attitude, you will always have a place at the table. Always. There will always be people that want you on your team. And if you approach your clients like that, like, I must serve you today because you are my career. You are my career, and I'm devoting my whole life to you right now. This 10-second text message I'm sending, or this 20-minute phone call I'm on, or this 1-hour podcast, you're giving me an hour of your time, dude. So I'm going to serve you with the most vigorous passion that I can serve you with in hopes that it benefits you. I would never come on a podcast without saying, dude, I owe everything to Josiah right now for 1 hour. I'm his, and I will do anything I can to make this the best podcast he's ever had because he gave me an opportunity. And you really and truly, from the motivational piece, you just have to have a daily pause button and say, wait a second, I'm not going to leave the house today until I'm ready. And that really goes to I'm not going to approach my family until I'm ready to serve them, my community, my state, my country, my planet. It turns into you just become this serving machine, man, and people like having you on the team. So I'm passionate about that stuff because I really feel, because you know what, there's people along in our lives that have served us in some form or fashion. They said something that resonated, and then we take it for the rest of our lives. Most stuff I tell you is not something that I just dreamed up. It's somebody served me, and now we're just passing it on, man.
Dude, I love that so much. That's amazing. Now, I mean, that in itself is, if people could just take that away from this and be able to apply it, I mean, your attitude determines your altitude, right? I remember that quote. I'm not sure who said it, but a bad attitude will always bring you down, right? And it brings people around you down. And it's just like, all you have, I'll never claim to be the guy who knows it all. I know very little, but I do know that when I show up every day, I'm putting on my game face, right? I'm putting on my hard hat and saying, I'm here to work, man. I'm here to show up and help you with whatever goal you have in front of you. I'm right by your side, right? I'll always, and it relates to Spartan, but in the movie 300, the Spartan warriors are less concerned about how great they can throw a spear than they are with how great they can defend the person next to them, right?
Yeah.
And that's everything. It's just that serving mentality is just huge.
Life moves pretty fast, and we get ourselves involved in situations. Man, I don't know if you say they call it the world's worst or the world's best. I don't know sometimes. But I love getting myself involved in as many things that I can get involved with. And life moves fast. And we're all meshed in with certain things that we do, and we all have a network. And opportunities, this is another learning experience for you and I and the listeners. We all need to be reminded of this sometimes. People in our network, opportunities come up, and what do they do every time an opportunity? If you and I started a new business tomorrow, Josiah and Yancy would immediately need to fill some positions. We might need a social media director. We might need somebody to do a website. We might need somebody to work some marketing for us. We might need somebody to work some sales, blah, blah, blah. You get my point. And we're going to immediately, where does the brain go? Who are the people in my network that I love being around, I love working with, I love their energy, I love their passion, I love their level of serving in every form of fashion that they can serve. I love the smile. I just love being around them. That's the first person we're going to call. So you have to ask yourself, what do people think when I step into a meeting? This is all great practices for everybody, all the listeners, because I have to ask myself this. I fail at this sometimes. When I'm walking into that meeting and there's 10 people I know or don't know, when that meeting's over, what do they think about me? What is their perception of me? Do they feel that I brought something to the table to help situation? Do they like my energy? Do they like my passion? All these things are very important. So you become some type of person. We all, if we put everybody on the truth serum and said, hey, on a scale of 1 to 10, these 15 categories, judge that person, they're all going to be able to create marks for us. And you don't have to be perfect, but do people want you on their team? Do they like what you bring? That's something you need to ask yourself periodically. And if you're struggling, you start improving in those areas and doors. I always say you only need to crack a door. Once the door is cracked and that person lets you just barely slip in, what you do when you get in that room is how you either blow the doors off the hinges or you find yourself right back out the door pretty soon. But there's doors cracked for us every day. You may not even see it, but there's a door cracked for you right now. When somebody cracks it, you need to slip in there, and you need to go to work inside that room because you got something you can provide for them, and they'll benefit. And worst case scenario, your network grew. That's worst case scenario.
I love it, man. This is one of the reasons why I love your online coaching too, because you didn't even talk about how you provide your mental jewels every week too, man. Those are, those quick videos where you're talking about something mindset related, which I'll be honest, I think is way more important than the physical side. Even if it's just getting fired up, getting in the gym, getting someone just to say, you know what, I'm going to put my gym shoes on today and get out for a run. Those things lead to so much more success and momentum, right? You like you said, you crack the door, you get in, you're just tipping the scales in the direction of the momentum you want to go. And that's everything, man. That's everything. I tell people all the time, like, you start with I have a rule in our programs. I say, look, guys, there's not going to be, this isn't a paradise where every day you wake up ready to work out. I said, your biggest tool is going to be something called the 10-minute rule. It's like, I just give myself 10 minutes. I do it for 10 minutes. And if I want to go home after that, great. But I guarantee after 10 minutes of putting in the work, you're going to want to keep going because you start to realize, oh, I can do this. It's not that bad. I got this, right? And that's just something that you can apply to everything in life, even if it's a conversation you don't want to have or, a to-do list that you don't want to start tackling. Those things can be knocked out just by getting the momentum going in the right direction, man. Dude, I love it. So, hey, go ahead. Sorry.
I appreciate you tuning in to the mental conditioning videos. That's one of the most favorite part of my programming is I get so geeked up. And all I'm doing there is taking the challenge in my life that day and just speaking to the masses with it and just help so we can lean on each other to help us work through some of the daily roller coaster ride challenges that we deal with. So thanks for tuning into those, my friend.
Yeah, man. And that's what makes them so valuable. They're so genuine, right? They're just things that you experience and you're like, hey, I'm just sharing my struggle. And that automatically opens you up or opens people up to be able to accept the message, right? Because it doesn't feel like you're preaching. It's just like, hey, I'm just sharing stuff that I'm going through. You might be going through it too. You might not be, or maybe you did before, or maybe you will in the future. And let me share it with you. So it's awesome. So going back to DekaFit, because I know your time is valuable. I want to get you on to what you have to do next. But I know people are probably wondering what are the obstacles in DekaFit? For those who are just like tuning in for the first time to my show and never heard of it before, what are some of the things they should expect as they jump into this new event?
Well, let's go. Let me take a few minutes here and paint a full picture to somebody's like, I don't know if I should sign up for this. Okay. So you're wondering about DekaFit right now. First thing I want to tell you, it's a decathlon for all levels of fitness. And I want capital bold letters, all. I don't care where you are in your fitness journey. It is for you. So you show up on race day. There's an open category and an elite category. The standards, the weight standards are the same. The Deka zones are the same. There are a few zones that have slightly different, like the elites have to, like on box jump overs, for example, the elites actually have to jump off both feet, do a strict box jump over. Open can jump, they can step, or they can even crawl over the box. So other than a few very basic allowances that we allow for the open category, it's the exact same race for open and elite. So you walk into the Deka arena. So I'll paint the picture for Denver Broncos indoor training facility because that's our first race, March 21. So you've got this beautiful indoor training facility where the Broncos train. On the football field is the Deka gym. There's 10 zones in there and a lot of cool spots for spectators and sponsors and whatnot to hang out. On the perimeter of that football field is a 333-meter running track. When you start your race, you do a lap and a half, which is exactly 500 meters, and you go into the first DECA zone. You're in that DECA zone. In this case, you're doing 30 Spartan Ram squats. And again, we've chosen weights that they're not crazy heavy. Everybody can handle them. It's just going to take some people, the elite athletes can move faster than the other athletes. That's just the way it's going to be. So you do your 30 Spartan Ram squats, and then you do another mile and a half. You do another lap and a half around the DECA arena. Then you go into DECA zone 2. You do 500 meters of rowing. You run another 500 meters. And then you do your box jump overs or your box step up overs, another 500. Then you do your med ball sit-up throws. So you keep doing this method, and then you have your ski erg times 500 meters, 100 meters of farmer's carry, assault bike for 25 calories. We just recently tweaked that from 20 to 25 calories. Then you have your dead ball wall overs, one of my favorite movements. It's the most rudimentary movement on the planet. Pick up this dead ball, lift it up, push it up and over, drop it up and over a 4-foot wall, run around or walk around or crawl around the other side of the wall and keep repeating. It's such a cool, simple movement. And then you have the tank push-pull. It's a really cool machine called the Tank M4 from Torque Fitness. You're going to be pushing it down and back for 5 reps. And then you have 20 Spartan Ram burpees. Every one of those DECA zones, again, low skill but fun, well-rounded movement standards. Every one of those DECA zones is preceded by a 500-meter run. So when you hit the finish line, you will have ran 5K or walked 5K or walk-jogged 5K and completed 10 DECA zones. About every 4 to 5 minutes, we send out a wave of, say, 20 people. But as the morning cranks up, the courses get more and more people out there. But every 35 to 75 minutes, maybe even 90 minutes for some, no harm, no foul, people are finishing their course, and they've earned a DECA mark. So on the same day, in the same arena, using the exact same movements, in the same DECA zones, with all levels of fitness, every one of your listeners can come in and have no reason to be nail-biting nervous. There's no stress to complete this at a certain time. There's basically nothing. I mean, I can't say 100%, but 99.9% of your listeners, there's nothing they're going to fail. It just may take you longer to get it in, and that's on purpose. This is designed for you to be able to get a test in your very first experience. If Jane and John just got off work on a Saturday and they're walking down past the Atlanta Convention Center, and they see this DekaFit, what the heck is this? It's 10 in the afternoon, 10 a.m. They walk in. I don't care if John's wearing dress slacks and a pair of dress shoes. He can register that day and get his DECA mark an hour. He's got his DECA mark an hour later. He did it in freaking slacks and a pair of dress shoes. It's so awesome entry level, but in the same breath, the greatest athletes in the world can have one of the most challenging experiences they've ever had. And I'm not stretching the truth when I give you those two extremes. It's for everybody. And we wanted to create a global test where in the perfect world, every human, I think high school kids, college students, think any team out there, think military, think you're the HR director for Comcast here in Denver. You employ 25,000 people, and you want to motivate your team and get them tested. So you get all the groups get together, different departments get together, and they got 15, 20 coming from each department, and they have bragging rights for our department had the best deck. They come back in Denver next year, and look, Comcast as a whole, last year Comcast sent 475 people, and their average time was 52 minutes as a company. 52 minutes and 17 seconds. 2021, we came back, and we were 48 minutes and 12 seconds. We improved by 18% as a company. That's the type of vision that we have with this, that we love. So gyms awesome. And companies they love that. There's nothing else we can do. There's nothing else out there to test your masses like that in an environment that you can sit there as an HR director and say, guys, this is for every employee we have. You know what? We'll work with our insurance, and we're going to be able to work this in, and you're going to be able to put this towards your insurance plan, or we're going to cover 50% of registration, or we're going to give your whole company 30, 40% discount on your registration. So We are literally trying to completely rip the rug out from under the fitness testing world in a beautiful way, where everybody out there, either a client or an owner or a personal trainer or group fitness coaches, we're like, oh my gosh, this is for us. This is truly for us.
Dude, I love it. I'm so excited. So remind me, because this is something that I know the listeners are going to ask. So I know the dates aren't set in stone yet, but you have Denver in March, March 21st, right? And then what are some of the dates, or at least months, that you're going to be in other areas? I know you mentioned Alexandria. That's kind of the one I'm super curious about. But what are the other locations and areas?
Yeah, for sure. So Dallas in May, early May. Atlanta will be late May. Miami in June. Raleigh. I said that like it's
Raleigh.
Raleigh.
Raleigh's close to me. That's only a few hours.
Raleigh, North Carolina. Love Raleigh. June. Alexandria, August. New York, September. Boston, October. Toronto, November. LA, December. That's 10 events that you're going to start seeing more actual dates sprinkling in. And again, it's just once that ink dries on that venue contract, then you don't ever want to sprinkle a hardcore date in until you have the ink dried on that venue. But one of the cool things is, like, think about it for your Denver listeners or anybody that's in driving distance of Denver. It's like, wait a second, I'm a Broncos fan. I get to spend the day inside their indoor training facility. That's super cool. And so yeah, we've stripped away all the excuses, and really these will all be in destination cities. And I think a game changer. It's always amazing to me that millions of people go race these races that are 2 hours outside of town. It's because Spartan provides such an epic experience, and you love it, and it just pulls you back. But dude, these are 5-minute drives, 5, 10, 15-minute drives from 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 million people. Sure. Every one of these events. So,
dude,
anyway, what else you got for me, my friend?
Man, I could talk to you all day, brother. I really appreciate it. I think you're one of my favorite people, man. I don't say that to everybody, so I appreciate it to have you on the show. And I know your time's super, super valuable, and I know you have a million things going on. How can people connect with you? What's the best way for them to connect with the Yancy Camp and also DekaFit?
Yeah, so at Yancy Culp on Instagram is how I do a lot of communication. At Deka.fit is our Instagram page that I spend a lot of time on as well. So you can private message me through at Yancy Culp or at Deka.fit. YancyCamp.com is my website, all things Yancy Camp. I do this all the time. People think I'm crazy. I get podcasters like, you're nuts. My personal cell phone is 512-423-3486. I literally take calls all the time. And, it's had some people that they see that weird calls, like, I'm not answering that. I answer them all. 50% of them are telemarketers. The other 50%, I get calls from people like, I got your number off of this podcast you listed, and I had a question for you. Like I said, man, I'm the Matthew McConaughey of fitness. I love localizing with everybody. So if somebody literally calls me after they hear your podcast and they want to talk about something, I get so geeked up about that. So Yancy Culp at Yancy Camp is my .com is my email. So probably the easiest, if you just want to reach me and you have to remember anything other than my Instagram, is at Yancy Culp or at Deka.fit. For all things questions about Spartan or DekaFit, hit me on either one of those. Heck, call me. Like I said, check out all things YancyCamp.com. But I always tell people, please, and I know you feel the same way. It's so funny. And I remember being this way when I was like new into the sport of OCR, or maybe, you're new into DekaFit or something. A lot of people, and I give them credit, they don't want to bother people. Like I want to respect this time. I don't want to bother them. I always tell people, please feel free to bother me, because you're actually not bothering me. It's what I do for a living, and it's what I love to do. If I talk to 3 people today that I've never talked to before, I'm happy when I put my head on the pillow tonight. And so for all your listeners, man, it's I think, I love to say it's a beautiful day to be alive. And each and every one of you out there, you have something very, very special to offer. What you have right now, what you're doing right now it's special. And I always love encourage the listeners to allow yourself, if there's a level of nervousness or some wall or some obstacle that's blocking you, maybe it's pride, maybe it's ego, maybe it's nervousness, but you feel like you have something beautiful to say, or there's something on your heart or something you want to do, I encourage you to push that nervousness or that ego or that pride aside and allow yourself to move on that little idea that's in your head that might lead you down a greater path of being able to serve your family better, serve yourself better, serve your community, serve the company you're working for. And it all boils down to you end up serving a massive group of people eventually if you may be onto something. So something that's driving you. I encourage you to, if sometimes it's like, okay, I gotta moonlight in something else. I was in the corporate world for 16 years, and I moonlighted in fitness. I started boot camps and coaching, and man, I was grinding hard because I knew I loved fitness. I'm like, well, the corporate world, I said I loved it because I'm the eternal optimist. Really and truly, in the true serum, I didn't love it, but I convinced myself every day that I freaking loved it. So everybody thought that. But I moonlighted in fitness because I knew that's where I really wanted to be. So I had to freaking work my ass off, man. Get off work and then coach a boot camp and then a morning boot camp. But it was because I had an idea and I had a thought and I had this determination to do this. So I was like, you know what? There's a lot of obstacles in the way, but one at a time, I'm going to push them out of the way. And I'm going to be a better version of myself every single day. I'm going to be one step closer. If Josiah and Yancy move one rock a day towards our goal, we get one step closer every single day, and that path gets a little smoother. So for all your listeners, man, you guys are all doing great. You guys and gals are doing great work out there. Whatever you're doing, keep doing it. And just, create the habit of, when you're done each night and that head hits the pillow, you grade yourself. Like, how did I do today? Did I do a good job? I've got my standards in place. And would my mentors and my accountability partners, would they be proud of my effort today? Am I proud of my effort today? It's perfectly okay for you to be proud of yourself at the end of the day. You don't have to show it. You don't have to post it on Instagram. But you lying there next to your soulmate in bed or lying there by yourself, are you proud of how your day went? And if you're not, guess what? Get up, knock out some burpees, answer an email, make a last-minute phone call, do something that allows you that level of comfort. Like, you know what? Today was a great day. And you can't go wrong. We only get, gosh dang, man, time's really short. I was talking to my good buddy the other day. I was like, 0 to 21, 25, we're just kind of figuring stuff out. And then we get about 25 to 65 when we're really we're in the mix, man. We're rocking and rolling. Things are crazy. And then we kind of start, as far as the business world and whatnot, we do slow down a little bit and we settle in at those, maybe I'm just throwing spitball numbers out there, but 65 months, like things kind of shift. So really and truly, you got this beautiful 40-year window of just soul-crushing life to the best of your ability and creating what you want to create. And then in the golden years, you get to sit back and high five yourself and love on all this stuff that you were a part of, and just it puts a big shit-eating grin on your face, and you're excited about it. So really and truly, when you think about it, man, time goes by fast. And if you aren't maximizing every single day, and if you don't have a system in place, that check and balance system, and I'll finish on this. If you don't have a check and balance system that has you saying, wait a second, the day is over, how'd I do? You got to develop that today, and I promise you it'll be a game changer for you. So to all your listeners out there, thank you for listening to my crazy ass for an hour here. Thank you for giving me an hour of your time, my friend.
Dude, I appreciate you being on the show, man. You're, like I said, I don't say it to everybody, but you're one of my favorite people, and it's just simply because you're real, and it's awesome. I love it, man. Thanks for coming on the show, man. I'm excited to see you soon. Hopefully, if not in March, soon thereafter. But we'll connect and we'll talk, and I'll be having a bunch of clients out there at DekaFit and Spartan. We didn't talk about Spartan, but we'll be still doing Spartan. I'll be doing the National Stadium in May. And I'm excited, man. It's going to be a great year.
You know, can I take 20 seconds to plug a few of
Please
my team members?
Please do.
Shout out to my human family, humanend.com. I've been with them since 2013. They're the makers of Beat Elite. Just an absolute game-changing team. I've been on that team for a long time. I love all things human. You guys check them out. Their products are absolutely amazing. My Spartan team, I have the wonderful opportunity to work with Joe DeSena and team and everybody at Spartan. There's just a lot of great people. When you get to know certain companies like that, in face value, like, well, they're not perfect. They make a lot of mistakes, blah, blah, blah. But really and truly, that's a team, that entire Spartan team from Joe down. When you get to know them behind the scenes, they are so stinking dedicated to improving the fitness culture. You hear it every single time you get a chance to work with the executives. They're just radically passionate. And that's why I love aligning with them and having the opportunity to work with them, because they truly want to move the fitness culture needle. One of my newest partnerships is Fit Phones. I love the Fit Phones. You guys can check them out. Spartan Ram. That's my. I'm in business with the Ram guys out of Ireland. We're now officially aligned with Spartan. We're actually formally teamed with Spartan, with the Spartan Ram. A lot of you rock stars got to see the Spartan Ram at the stadium races this year. Obviously, they'll be in DECA Zone 1 and DECA Zone 10 at your DekaFit event. Phenomenal strength training tool. You can find them at Spartan.com in the shop. It's also, they're made out of 100% recycled car tires. Just a phenomenal, indestructible strength training tool. It's also a great body maintenance tool when you're done. The Power Systems family, man, just shout out to my brother, Jared Cogswell. He's my right-hand man with all things DekaFit. He was the first guy that we brought on the team, rock star in the fitness world. Shout out to my wife and kids. And once again, man, thank you so much, Josiah, for giving me a little bit of time to chat to the world about, and your clients and customers out there, about DekaFit and Spartan and Yancy Culp and all the things. We didn't kick around a little mental conditioning as well during the podcast, my friend. Thank you so much.
You're the man, dude. I will be talking to you soon. Thanks again, brother.
All right, Josiah, rock and roll. Have a good day. Everybody out there, make sure you light up the planet today. Rock and roll.
Love it.
Take care, brother. Bye.
You too. Bye.